Hello, my little piggies. Welcome back to I Am a Bit of an Expert, a Peppa Pig podcast. I'm your host, Josh Chapman, and with me always is the other host, Matt Frost. Hello, Matt.
Good evening, Josh. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm just checking all my teeth are in and present, and everything is as accounted as it's supposed to be as we dip into the tooth fairy. Now, just as a precursor to this, I actually went to the dentist the other day, and I hadn't been to the dentist for a while. It wasn't a shockingly long time, but it had been a while, and I'd moved house. So I was in a new area of town, so I was like, well, I'll get a local dentist, and because we've bought this house, this will be my guy. This will be my dentist until hopefully for a long time. So anytime you go to a new dentist, they throw in the extras. They're like, all right, well, we'll do an X-ray and we'll do a bunch of other stuff. And he did the X-ray, and he goes, are you aware that you still have a baby tooth?
Oh.
And I went, no. He goes, yes, this tooth, like halfway at the top in the, between the other ones, that's actually a baby tooth. I'm going, okay, well, what's that about? He's like, oh, well, I guess you just didn't have a tooth, like a main one above it. So there was nothing to push it down. So you've just got this baby tooth that's just sitting. It's just the same size. It's as long as the other ones. And the funny thing was that when I got my wisdom teeth taken out, I had them taken out at the top, but not the bottom because I had no wisdom teeth at the bottom. So I'm just this sort of tooth-deprived person where I don't even have half my teeth. I don't have any noticeable gaps. I still have a flawless smile, but...
Well, I'm not arguing. I'm just...
the best I can tell over the Skype.
I'm just wondering if that baby tooth does wobble out, like,
Will something actually turn up?
Well, can you then put that under your pillow? And I'm just thinking, like, with appreciation rates from, because with interest, what you owed on that tooth.
I could get a new car.
Yeah, you might do you good to give that one a bit of a wiggle, mate.
Yeah, the problem is though, if nothing else grows out, I'd have to probably get something I'd have to go to the dentist to get something to put over the top of the gap that it's probably going to leave, and that would be all my sweet tooth fairy money gone down the drain right there.
Might be a net loss, actually.
Yeah, it's very true. So all this tooth talking tooth fairy. What goes down this episode, mate?
Peppa has a wobbly tooth. She loses wobbly tooth. She gets explained because it's her first tooth that she's lost. She gets which is probably a little bit inaccurate for children if she's 4.
Well, this is the first thing that was brought up when I was watching it. We were discussing it. Kat and I she was observing. She was actually feeding the new baby while we were watching it, and she goes, "How old's Peppa supposed to be?" And I said, pretty sure she's 4." She's going, "She shouldn't be losing her baby teeth yet, should she?"
Oh,
that
God.
Does seem young.
So Kat's now decided she's a full-on Peppa Pig expert now.
Yeah, well, I did mention that. I was going to leave the Peppa Pigging to the experts, but she was nice enough to sit. She was nice enough to sit there while I was watching them. But it was definitely remarked upon. It did seem young. I know you do have older kids that have probably gone through the losing of the teeth.
Well, Sarai's just turned 6, and she hasn't lost a tooth yet. When I met Kiara, who's technically my stepdaughter, she was 10, so
yeah,
that was sort of coming to a close. I can't really offer a lot. Look, I think the safest thing is to say that Kat's probably right.
Yeah, I feel like unless you've taken a monkey bar to the face or a swing to the face.
Oh, it's funny you should say that. That's exactly what happened to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, as a kid. Yeah, you know those the double swings, like with one sits on either end and it sort of slides horizontally.
Yeah, back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah. So my 2 older sisters were on that, and I sort of toddled up behind them and copped a swing to the face, and. I was sort of so I got a tooth or 2 knocked out then, and for some reason that little accident meant that I'd have an adult tooth pulled out. So I'm sort of like your exact opposite.
Like
You've got
bizarro
yeah,
world.
you
Upside down world.
You were missing an adult tooth and got to keep a baby tooth, and I'd got a baby tooth knocked out, so I had to have an adult tooth taken out, and that was quite an awful experience at 12 or whatever to have an adult tooth ripped out. So
Yeah, you're like, hey man, I just got this thing.
yeah, it's like
Oh well, we're sending shivers down the spines of the listeners here.
I haven't even hit puberty yet. What are you doing?
Yeah, I got my teeth. Oh, girls will never want to kiss me now. So Peppa and George are sort of honking down on spaghetti with no sauce, just basically like a plate of spaghetti, and Peppa's tooth just sort of falls out onto the plate. So I mean, the first thing that struck me is like an awful lack of blood for a tooth just plopping out. I seem to remember all the teeth that I lost there being a little bit of blood around and things, and you just sort of you give it a wiggle and a wiggle and a wiggle and a wiggle, and then it would sort of drop out. You'd have a hanky in your hand or a piece of toilet paper or something. But the more disturbing thing is that Peppa just starts showing off her teeth with this big gap in it. It's actually quite horrifying when she's flashing the gnashes, so to speak.
Yeah, she, I mean, it's a common thing to do online to sort of point out that the Peppa Pig characters are the most correct anatomically or whatever, but this was
we've seen plenty of those hot takes.
Yeah,
they
have no place on this podcast.
No. Think of something different. So Peppa sort of picks up her tooth and she's doing a lot of sort of putting her teeth together, and she's got this gaping big hole right in the front. And then they say, "Oh, well, don't worry, because we'll tell you all about the tooth fairy." And then there's a little sort of spiel about the tooth fairy, and this is sort of the first realm of I don't know how to put this, into the fantastical, shall we say?
Yeah, I think that's a fair enough call. Yeah.
Because I mean, I get we have touched on the episodes where obviously Santa is involved and things, but this is a original timeline.
Yeah.
So this is sort of the first sort of child thing that children believe thing to come in, and then they actually show like a tooth fairy Peppa coming through the window and dropping a tooth under the pillow.
Odd choice that she looked like Peppa.
Yeah, I guess. Is it another pig? Is it Peppa? I'm assuming it's Peppa, or is it just the fairy is a pig and it's just a girl fairy? It looks a lot like Peppa.
It looks a lot like Peppa.
The eyelashes are actually different. She's got mummy pig eyelashes.
Well, is it supposed to be a representation of mummy pig?
It could be. It could be, because the eyelashes are sort of the differentiating, obviously apart from the size. So it could be. And the tooth fairy looks like she's holding a big shiny pound coin, as best as I can tell.
It's like a £2 coin, doesn't it?
No, the £2 coin is large and round. Yeah, so the little fat... It's confusing because the Australian $2 coin is closer to the £1 coin, and the Australian $1 coin is closer to the £2.
And our $2 coin is worth about 50 pence. So...
Yeah, pretty much any time you want to go to England, it is, exactly. So Peppa gets all pumped about the tooth fairy. She brushes her teeth, she brushes her tooth as well. She gives her tooth a little bit of a scrub, and proceeds to chuck it under the pillow to get ready to go to bed. And of course, she's like, "I'm not going to bed. I'm going to stay up all night." Now, the interesting thing about this is that Peppa's got a clock next to her bed, and it looks like bedtime in the pig household is pretty much around 7, which is pretty close to what we have at our house.
Oh, God, I wish.
You've got a bit of a spread of ages as well, which probably makes things a little bit more difficult.
Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah. But, yeah, we range from 7:30 to midnight. So
yeah, well, I guess when you've got the adult kid as well, that makes it a bit more difficult. Now, our new baby... She's sort of we're down for her big sleep sort of about 10ish. So Olive actually goes to bed around 7, and then we put the baby down for her last feed and go down around 10 at the moment. But in a few months, hopefully they'll both be down around 7ish, and life will be good.
I wish you all the best with that.
So basically, Peppa's lying in bed. She's waiting for the tooth fairy to turn up. Waiting. Nothing's happening. She's doing some moves that seem quite similar to what my daughter does when she won't go to sleep. She's usually a pretty good sleeper. Every now and then there's a blip in the road and she'll just be lying on the bed at different angles and the blanket's off and this is off and things are everywhere and so on and so forth. But Peppa can't stay up. And then, judging on the clock, I can just see it looks like it's 10 o'clock. The tooth fairy turns up. And this time for real. Before it was sort of, saying how it looks. And the tooth fairy comes in. She's got the shiny pound coin in her possession. She gets under the pillow. Now, when you do you haven't done teeth yet, but you wouldn't put it under the pillow, would you? That seems like that's just a risky move, having to try and get it out from under there.
So when I was growing up, it was in a glass of water. So and then the tooth fairy would come, and you'd in the glass water there'd be a shiny 50-cent coin or a 20-cent coin, or.
Now that was the next question I was going to ask: is what's the going rate for teeth? I mean, I still remember as a kid it was between 20 and 50 cents.
Yeah, we're the same age, so that's about right, isn't it?
That was the current exchange rate. That's what they report in the where tooths were trading on the Nasdaq or the Dow. Where they be now? I don't know where. I mean, I guess,
on the ivory market.
Yeah, that's right. So I don't know what a tooth goes. I feel like when Olive gets her teeth, I think it probably will be around 50 cents to $1. I don't think they'd be forking out any more than that for a tooth. If she lost a tooth now at 3, which I don't think she will.
Well, you want to be careful around swings.
Well, she cops a swing to the face. Yeah, I mean that's the context. It might be a little bit of a different story if you have to give a consolation. You got your teeth bashed out too.
You might get an insurance payout. Might be like
that's true.
10 grand tooth from the local council
again,
from a faulty swing.
Well, the council that we're in, they're minted. They just spend money on anything. It's always new footpaths turning up all the time where our place because they've got to spend it on something.
Well, I'm not saying like stage an accident and fake your daughter losing a tooth for an insurance scam, but I'm not saying it either. So.
Well, if next time you see me, got a brand new fancy microphone, or I got like a golden pair of headphones or something.
He's dressed up like John Laws on the other end of the Skype course.
Yeah, you can Google that for our international listeners.
Or don't.
Don't bother. So Peppa wakes up and she's realised that she fallen asleep. She didn't manage to stay up after all. She's missed the tooth fairy. She's a bit devastated. But then, of course, she pulls off the pillow, and under the pillow is a lovely, shiny pound coin. So good for her. I don't know whether she doesn't really go into any detail about what she wants to spend it on or anything, but it's not really remarked upon.
No, they kind of wound up by then, hadn't it, the episode?
It kind of did finish quite. They sort of went, oh, yep, you've got your money, and then good for you, and losing teeth ain't so bad, really.
Yeah, it's probably the... again, the look behind the curtain. Josh and I do these in a little clump, and was probably the weakest of this clump, but we've been
pretty
charming.
Lucky though.
Yeah, we have been.
This was still better than most of the ones we did in the last clump, though.
Yeah, I think so.
And then always good to get a little bit of teeth talk, but so basically Peppa gets the coin. Great, having Tooth Fairy is great, and that's about it really. So not a bad little episode. Some funny little bits. It probably brought up a lot more sort of personal experience stuff than actually what happened in the episode. But I did like the sort of the mummy pig. Oh, this is sort of a closing thought type of thing. I know I've skipped ahead, but no. Yeah, I do kind of like the fact that I think the Tooth Fairy looks like mummy pig for a very specific reason. So yeah, I think that's coming out of mummy pig's expenses.
Yeah, yep. So, but it was quite charming. So
yeah, it was. It wasn't a bad one at all. So we'll probably stick a pin in that one. We'll be back next time with the new car. So, you know, a little bit of sizzle there.
I think, yeah, I mean, looking forward, I think some of the much loved characters are starting to really find their voice. So,
yeah, well, we're almost, we're almost 25 episodes in. I mean, I know we've done a few specials and things, so the numbers don't quite line up with the episodes and things. But you know, the show is definitely hitting its stride. I think we like we said, we had a little bit of a blip where not much happened, but I think from now on, things get interesting and stay pretty interesting. So you know, stick with us. We're all on this journey together. We're in it whether we like it or not. So if you want to follow us on social media, you can get us at Peppa Pig Pod. Drop us a line, leave us a review on iTunes. Thanks to everybody who has. Thanks to everybody who's downloaded. The support's been really good. We're on Facebook as well. If you want to find us on Facebook and Instagram, all those social media things, pretty easy to find us. And thanks, Matt. Thanks for coming on the tooth journey.
No worries, Josh. Thank you, and good night, my little piggies.
Yeah, we're playing a tune and we're singing a song with a bang and a bong and a bang. Bong, bang, boo, bing, bong, bing, bing, bong, bangly, bongly, boo. Bong, bing, boo, bing, bong, bing, bing, bong, bangly, bongly, boo.